Hey everyone, TruthSurge here again. I wanted to do a quick follow-up video because there was a verse in there that I wanted to elaborate on, and it's 1 Corinthians 15:47, and the way it reads in the King James makes it sound as if Paul is talking about Jesus as you would talk about him if you knew he had come from heaven, stayed on earth, and then went back to heaven, just like the gospel story. But what I'm about to show you is this is nothing like the truth. Okay, there's two things in this verse that we can change, not because I want to change it, but because we need to change it. We have to change it to get it back to closer to what Paul actually said. So let's look at this. The first man is of the earth, earthy. The second man is the Lord from heaven. Alright. The first problem we're going to fix is this word Lord here. I'm going to click on C. Now, notice this Textus Receptus is the compilation from which this came. You see this guy right here, right? That's Kyrios. K-Y-R-I-O-S. And we come down here. Here it is. Kyrios, and it means Lord. If we clicked on here, we could go see Lord, Master, etc. But the interesting thing is, this word was never part of Paul's original letter. I'm going to go to the Codex Sinaiticus. Okay, and we look at verse 47. I'm zooming in, hopefully, in my editor. You can see. Now let's look for K, Y, anything. Not there. It is not there. Now we go down here and we read the actual verse. The first man is from the earth, earthy. The second man from heaven. You see, there is no the Lord from heaven. There is no Kyrios in the 1 Corinthians in the Codex Sinaiticus, which is a very early collection of New Testament writings, including 1 Corinthians. So it's not present here, and it's not present in a lot of other early manuscripts. So now we're getting back to something closer to the original. But there's still sort of a problem here. The second thing we need to consider is this from. The first man is from the earth. Is that the best translation of ek? Let's flip back over to Blue Letter Bible and look over here. Now, this word ek, it can be translated in many different ways. From, of, out of. Let me click on it and we'll take you to the lexicon entry for ek. Out of, from, by, away from. Now look at this. In all of the instances of ek in the Greek, which would be the New Testament, 366 times it's translated as of, 181 as from, 162 as out of. Okay, so it has a prepositional kind of feel of coming out of or being a part of something. Now, let's go look at the various translations and see which one makes sense, the most sense. So if we click on the V, we can see all the translations. Now we're gonna ignore this Kyrios, Lord issue, and a lot of these versions don't have that. And you can even see the New King James even tells people in a roundabout way that some of the manuscripts do not contain the Lord or Lord. And I love the way they word it. NU text omits the Lord. Well, no, it doesn't omit the Lord. It never had the Lord. I mean, this wording would lead you to believe that for some reason it was always in there. They just chose not to put it in there. I find that extremely misleading. So, now, let's go look at some of these. Let's look at the NIV. The first man was of the dust of the earth. The second man from heaven. There we go again. They're translating of here and from here. But it's the same Greek word. And Paul, remember, in this passage, Paul is keeping a distinct separation between Jesus in heaven and Adam on earth. Okay? And this is telling us in this specific area, it's talking about the kind of body that Adam has and the kind of body that Jesus has. The first man was of the earth. In other words, he was made from the stuff of the ground upon which he walked. The place he lived, his body was composed of that kind of stuff. What I'm suggesting to you is that's exactly what Paul's saying of Jesus. The second man, Jesus, is of heaven, not from, of heaven. He's made, his body, his heavenly body, is made of heavenly stuff. This is Paul's whole argument here. But the King James translators, if we go back, they use the same technique, of the earth, but, you know, the second man is from heaven. And the reason they did that was because they remembered the gospel Jesus being from heaven. He actually came to earth. This is not what Paul is saying. Let's go down to Young's literal translation.